Good evening, folks. It is the Earthmaster here on this, it is Wednesday evening, the first day of September 2021's the date, just about 9:50 p.m. West Coast time in California. Latest quake on the globe is going to be a 3.2 earthquake right up here along the Aleutian Trench area in Alaska. Let's go ahead and check out some info around the globe on the flat scale Earth model. Shows the activity over the last 24 hours, 2.5 and above. Let's go ahead and lower that down for the states. All magnitude level. Seeing a little bit of uptick in earthquake activity. Not a major uptick, but definitely a little bit of an increase in activity along the Japan area. Kind of within that, well, it's kind of within that area where we've seen a little bit of swarming, a bunch of fives and whatnot a couple weeks ago now. Let's see if it was a couple weeks ago or if it's been a couple months ago. A couple weeks ago, that's right. Here's the 30-day all magnitudes here, 4.0 and above international. Shows that swarming activity that occurred here in the Japan region. It's been, like I said, within 30 days. This area right here kind of had me a little bit worried. Thought maybe we'd see quite a bit of a large-scale movement here, but a temporary release of pressure with all the fives and whatnot that we did see kick off within that region. A bunch of fours and fives there within that 30-day period. But so this activity that we've seen today, kind of within that region, but just a little bit more to the north. And it's still somewhat a deep movement, roughly around 50 to 60 kilometers below surface for those earthquakes here just off the coast of Japan, right around the Fukushima area. What else we got here? Looking pretty quiet here up around the trench region through the Aleutian Trench, although that 3.2 in that area, kind of average earthquake activity here up around the Aleutian area right now. Not looking at anything out of the ordinary for the moment. Let's shoot down here along the Tonga Trench and the Fiji Islands area. Of course, deep movement continues in this region. 4.6 at 503 kilometers below the surface for that quake. And some other deep movement within that region. New Zealand looking pretty quiet, according to the USGS 4.0 here and above. Let's see what else we got here. We did see some movement around the Romania area, 4.4. This one's pretty deep. Of course, it is within those the mountain ranges right here. This area, I'm sure, has seen quite a bit of earthquake activity, and no doubt pretty deep. Look at that. Look at that. That's right smack dab in this region here. Historically, has seen quite a bit of earthquake activity, and roughly all about the same level right there. Pretty crazy. What else we got here? Zooming over here to the Atlantic area. We did see a little bit of an increase out here, 5.3 and a 5.7 within the Mid-Atlantic Ridge area. Yesterday, we've seen some further movement up here to the north, so a lot of activity along the ridges out there, the rift zone. Moving down south here, South Sandwich Islands looking well. 2 earthquakes. That's a lot different than what we've seen in the past couple weeks, right? Still, though, 5.6 and 5.1, somewhat deeper movement, 30 and 47 kilometers for that earthquake activity. And as we stretch up here to the north, we had a 5.6. I believe that was originally I think that thing came in as a 5.9 or 5.8 if I remember earlier today. But the USGS definitely doing some major downgrading on that earthquake, which struck at about 16 kilometers right along the Peru-Chile Trench area. A little bit inland, but at the surface, a little bit not quite as down as some of the quakes that we're used to within this region. There's some deeper movement up to the north, down into the subduction zone here. 4.2 at 211 kilometers below the surface. What else we got? States kind of kicking up a little bit. Pacific Northwest quieting down, but activity along the western part of the states here. Some movement along the San Andreas Fault once again, and a little earthquake within the last hour. near, looks like Bayward Los Osos. See if I pronounce that correctly. Probably get hammered with complaints. 4.8 kilometers below surface for that little micro quake. And some movement over here, of course, once again, around the Antelope Valley area, it looks like. Down south here, Ridgecrest looking typical. A little bit of movement right smack dab on the San Andreas Fault south of Palmdale, 1.1. And a little bit of activity along the San Jacinto Fault area. No major swarming to report in that region. We have seen some earthquake activity ramping up here in the Wells, Nevada area. This all comes after the 4.6 that struck in this was it 4.6? 4.7. 4.7 that struck, and it looks like there was some aftershock activity. Looks like maybe they had finally gotten around to reporting it. I thought it was awfully strange that there was no aftershock activity after this 4.7 at all when I did the update video last night. So it looks as though they've added that on there, including some earthquake activity earlier today. Kind of spread out within that vicinity of the main quake, which was the 4.7. What do we got here? Salt Lake City area getting a little bit of microquakes around that region. Yellowstone looking fairly quiet. One little microquake here, very small, near Mammoth, Wyoming. We'll check out the Yellowstone seismographs here and see the overview of the park. Not a whole lot of movement, folks. Looking pretty quiet. Yeah, not looking active at all. Looking pretty quiet. Pacific Northwest Seismic Network. I'm guessing this is quiet, right? Yeah, well, a little bit quieter than last night. About 20 epicenters of tremor along the very edge of southern Oregon, northern California border, it looks like, into the Cascadia subduction zone. Just a little bit of tremor taking place there. Not a whole lot of movement, folks. Check out the solar weather. See what's going on out there in the solar department. A little bit of coronal holes facing us in this area. One big one way up to the north. Some other sunspots coming around to face the Earth. Kind of keeping an eye on this one here for development. Further development. Rapid development, I should say. Seeing that one up there. The big sunspot, 2860. It was pretty quiet as it was facing us. Watch this thing pop off some X flares as it gets starts pointing away from us. It's already pointing away from us, but just kind of weird. Sun's been acting kind of strange. It's almost like it's got a mind of its own. What else we got here? Looks like a little bit of potential for geomagnetic storming, but nothing significant. I mean, they were forecasting this for a couple days now, and I've been watching the KP indexes here, and they've been all pretty low. So I guess predicting space weather is very similar to predicting, weather here on Earth. So meteorology is almost got into that. I was almost going to get into meteorology because I love weather, but other things came up. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, so pretty quiet, folks, for the most part. There's that potential for G2 storming, looks like, but so far it has not hit, according to the KP indexes and the charts down here. Everything looks kind of minimal, but who knows? We'll keep an eye on this pretty closely. All right, guys, have a good night. Stay safe out there, and we will chat you guys another time. Have a good night.